Hey guys, welcome back to Viva America, the only show where we're more proud than any American when it comes to America. So, today we're going to talk about Intel, and this is kind of funny because we all know, we kind of feel in our bones that inflation already peaked. It did. But of course, because a lot of this data is lagging data, well, Jerome, J. Powell for his friends, basically forgot that it's not the same America that we used to be in 1980. And everyone, every YouTuber, everyone in social media, every clown showing up on CNBC thinks that we can do the same play. Oh, the Federal Reserve only tame inflation when we actually put inflation above CPI. But the reality is that in 1980, or at least during that decade, the debt to GDP ratio was not as bad as it is today. Now, you can always think that the Federal Reserve would just turn on the printer, but think twice. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This time, they have to hike. A lot of the narrative of the pivot is not good. But do you see that in front of your screen? This is how bad it's going to be in 2023. Now, I'm super optimistic. I truly believe in the American culture. I truly believe in how Americans are so flexible. I believe in the hustle culture better than anyone, and hustler as a good thing. I'm talking about frosters like Elizabeth Holmes or any other clown out there. I'm talking about the fact that you understand that, for example, if you live in LA, you better work. You better get the job done, okay? Nothing related to silent quitting, all that crappy stuff, okay? You show up. Otherwise, the city itself, just like New York, you can ask my dad about it, will just eat you and spit you over, all right? Now, when it comes to investing, when it comes to trading, a lot of these companies, they still have room to move to the downside. But the question is, how bad will be for Intel? Can Intel compete in a way with Taiwan Semiconductor? And during my first episode, I talk about it, okay? So let's take a look at what potentially can happen here, because these headlines are not fun at all. No bueno. So let's take a look at TradingView, and what you can see here is, you see this area, this is what we call a block. This is a full block from 24.75 all the way to 31. And I'm not calling that is necessary, but if you read the headline, let's take a look at the headline. What I don't like is the fact that they will send you home unpaid leave to manufacturing workers, okay? And that's the challenge when you rely 100% on a specific income. That's a challenge. Now, if they are doing okay, I don't know that, but this is not so nice that they let you go and they don't give you any support. Now, the company's trying to look for the best interest, for the interest of the company, but also this is the livelihood of a lot of Americans. Now, when it comes to trading, and the fact is, when you fire people today, it sounds good. Think about what happened with Meta that week, that the Wall Street Journal was just kind of posting and people thought it was just going to collapse, and it went up like a lot. It made a lot of money, 10 times on those call options. So look, this is a block. Goes from 24.40, 24.75 all the way up to 31.30. This actually happened over here, January 2014, not too far from April 2010. And believe it or not, it goes all the way back to 1997. 1997, that's how bad things are, that Intel is just actually going back to the very beginning. Now, this is good. Now, this is good in the sense from trading and investing, not good in what they're doing. Now, look at this, potentially all the way back to the levels of the low, somewhere around December 2012. If that's the case, you can tell and think about potentially another drop, which either way, if you're an investor, you are in the sweet spot to start buying Intel, right? You're in a sweet spot. You can actually digest this if you're starting. If you have a drawdown, that's a little bit of a different story, but you have the potential to go in. Now, when I look at this, Intel doesn't move too fast. I will be looking, if we have those option chain, I will be looking today all the way to 2025 if that's available. That's the best way to do this. Okay. Now, why would I want to use options? Now, usually you will look to say, conservative speaking, to pick 100 shares. 100 shares of Intel, you probably need like $2,800, give and take, right? So don't have to worry too much about commissions. But why do you need to risk that much money? Let's take up what the options are doing and see how we can play this. Because remember, one options contracts give you control over 100 shares. And that's what you want to do. You want to put less money up front and leverage yourself, just like Nancy Pelosi and her husband do all the time. So 2750. Also, I don't want to go too aggressive on my first pick. Not too aggressive, rather than, like I just explained, the stock right now is trading at 28.48. 100 shares, $2,800 just to buy this one, on top to the fact that you need to potentially expose yourself to a 30% drawdown. So rather than do that, let me take half of that money and I will buy 2 contracts for, look at the expiration, January 17, 2025. I will take half of that money because this is 625, that means 630 potentially. That means one contract is worth $630. So we'll take 2 contracts, okay? I will have control of about 200 shares. I'm playing with half of the money rather than just take 100 shares and know that I potentially have that risk. And it's not to say that I won't have a drawdown here, but the fact is I will be committing less upfront capital. That's the most important. That's most important. And then if the rotates lower, I can actually get this one potentially cheaper. Now, do I think things are going to stay here? I don't think so. We can see at the $40 in the next 2 years. You think about the next 2 years and you say, well, things probably were going through a recession, will recover, things will be better. Intel may have an opportunity, and I think so too. Now, let's take a look at this contract. This will be another option. This will be a contract that rather than take the 100 shares for $2,800, I will take this with probably $700, $260, $269, probably $800. So I'm using less money to play the game. That's what we want to do with options. And this is why I guarantee you, within the next 5 years, everyone on earth will be trading options on US stocks. It will be the #1 investment vehicle for everyone to play because people will want to actually find sources of income. The stock market, the US stock market specifically, it's great for that, but people will be crushed by what is happening. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Still, their spirit, because of what they know about America, they will follow. They will follow and they will learn how to trade options. So you have to join today. You have to participate. You have to learn how to do this. Now, the strategies I will be explaining, sharing, the opportunities I will be sharing during the show are more long-term because this is a different side of the story because you guys know all the retailers chasing Tesla weekly options. Not here. We'll look for opportunities where we are going to risk less to go for that asymmetric risk. And that's the name of the game. Right now, I like this contract because I will only take probably 3 contracts or maybe max 4. So I will use less money. I will commit less money. And if I was thinking at the beginning to take some Intel shares, become an investor in Intel, now I take only probably in one case, $1,200. And in the other case, I'm taking only $800, give and take, right? So low, contract low, 186, right now trading at, I can get it for $279. I will say no more than $800 invested here, max 1,000 if you have to, but that will allow me to play the game. So far, so good. The contract high, 395. So I can potentially look for me to make 50% on this one. If things were to get very, very good on Intel, then I would probably say I'm looking to double my money. I have a lot of time, and this can play in our benefit. Even if the whole thing drops 30%, we might have time for the whole thing to recover, and that's a good thing. And finally, I just want to let you go with this idea. So, I don't know, BBC posted this whole story. I don't think it's anything bad. I think, like, for example, in San Francisco, please, I never been there. I have only been in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Baltimore, a few other places, New York, of course, because that's where my dad lives. But look, he has a point about the whole thing of if I have the space, if I have the square meter, everything, and nobody's there, is it bad that you actually facilitate a place for your team to rest? It's a little bit complicated. And I think the note is somewhere here how the San Francisco Department of Building Inspection uh, is confirming potential violations. So that's kind of funny. Look, I think it's funny. Everything that he does from this point is going to be tricky, but he's trying to solve an issue. San Francisco, for those of you, I mean, if you're in the US, you have an idea. If you're outside the US, you have heard stories. I think it's very expensive. And it's not only the money, it's actually if you have the potential to find where to live. So I think this is just funny, the whole thing with Twitter and the staff members. Guys, that's all I have for you today. Look at Intel. We are approaching the 1997 level. This is a little bit funny, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, you want to take the opportunity. And again, rather than just buying 100 shares, I'm giving you two sides of the stories. Either you buy the 2750 January 17, 2025 call contract, two contracts for $630, probably your top will be $7 per contract, or you can play with $800 and look for the 40 call January 17, 2025. Right now selling for $276. Make sure you pay no more than $3. As usual, we'll come back tomorrow with more of Viva America, where I'll go over what's happening in the US, and I will tell you, it looks bad, but at the end, at the very end of the rainbow, there will be something good, hopefully money waiting for you. Thank you, guys. Remember to subscribe. Please, don't be rude. If you have comments, just share your ideas. I want to learn. If you're in the US, please let me know how are things in San Francisco as far as actually getting where to sleep, where to live, how expensive can it be. But if you don't like the content, don't be rude, okay? But remember, I do welcome haters. Thank you, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.